So, hello, Jitin. Nice to see you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good
I
afternoon.
also, after a long time, we
Exactly.
are talking again.
Catching up. Yeah. So basically, you are so popular as an IAS officer among the community, particularly the aspirants. They look forward to
Sir,
you. They look to you. They look up to you. So I feel very good about it. So
thank you, sir.
you have been doing a good job of mentoring actually youth. That's a big bonus. So yes, I wanted to ask you, like we all went through these questions beforehand. So what attracted you to IAS?
Sir, after college, I worked in corporate sector for 3 years. Then I was planning to go abroad. During that time, someone told me that it's important to make a social profile. Working with NGOs, probably teaching over there. That's how I started working with NGOs. So during my weekends on Saturday, Sundays, I used to go to NGOs, and had spent some really good time over there. I did that for 1 or 2 years in order to build up a profile so that I can apply in US properly. That's something which motivated me to come forward to civil services, because I felt uh, these services provide us opportunity to be closer to the people. So let's say when I worked as BDO, SGO, or additional district magistrate, we were closer, right at the center, where all the things happen. So that is something which always motivated me to work with the people at the ground. And I worked in corporate sector for 3 years, but my that satisfaction was not there. I was not able to see the desired results. I'm working in an office in a cubicle. I don't know what I was doing. I'm not able to see the results also. So it's just the monthly wise they'll give you a salary. So that work satisfaction was not there, which is something I realized in service to greater extent, that satisfaction is there. So these things always attracted me, and which drove me to be in the service. And because of that, I resigned from the job and started preparation.
So you resigned from your job and exclusively you devoted time for preparation.
So it's basically it was a more than 12-hour shift. So every day it used to be 12 to 13 hours. For a job, if it is close to, let's say, 7 to 8 hours or 9 hours, it is still manageable. But for 12 to 13 hours, it was not manageable with the job. I saved some money for a couple of years. Then I took a call that I'll resign now and prepare wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But of course, it puts pressure on our time that working for 12 hours more, finding that you have only 24 hours left in a day. So taking out time for preparation, because preparation also needs time. I think this may be something actually our civil service aspirants also go through this dilemma. They are working whether to continue and work. Many successful officers say that they have been working still, they made it. So we have such examples also.
Yes, sir.
So in my case also, I was working as a probation officer in a bank in Bombay. So I found it tough that 12 hours of like your travel with the local trains and reaching job, so more than 12 hours was gone. So later on, actually, I had to take some leave and prepare. Otherwise, it was not happening. So I think that is good. How was your academy life? It was good, enjoyable.
So that is something we miss the most. Whenever we, as batchmates, we talk to, even when we talk to seniors, we always talk about Masuri. And recently, snowfall also took place over there. The images we received on the WhatsApp groups. It's amazing to be there in the academy. So academy is basically the stepping stone to service. They tell us the basic tenets of the service. The discipline, which is the most important part. That is something I learned from academy. How we are not supposed to take these services serious, not in a serious way. So that seriousness about the service, that exposure, whenever senior officers of people from various fields used to visit the academy and take our classes, those were really inspirational, and exposure wise it was tremendous. something which I feel is a very good thing to be part of the service, because this exposure probably I won't have got at any other place.
Very right. In fact, from various walks of life, we get to know practitioners, experts.
Yes.
So that was a tremendous experience to interact with them. That's a good foundation also we get. Exceptional.
Yes, sir.
Then again, we come back to districts. We do field training, district training. You are in which district for training?
Sir, I was in Uttar Dinajpur, Raiganj.
Uttar Dinajpur, yeah. It was also my district where I was first posted as a sub-divisional magistrate and additional district magistrate. Continued for some time as district magistrate, few months also. So, we have fond memories there. So, but what you learned in Mussoorie, once you come to field, actually you will be testing your knowledge and ideas also, perhaps, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So basically, when we were in Mussoorie, there were two types of learning. One, I would say, is like, when seniors are coming or the faculty are there, course-wise they are going. So let's say they were teaching us economics, probably law also. So they have different courses which they teach in Mussoorie. Second part is the guest faculty, which come and they teach us on the real life experiences which happen with them. So mostly those are success stories. Some really good work that happened in the field in some far away corner of the country. Those people will come and they share their experiences with us, and that's where the imagination part starts building up. Because in the Mussoorie, when we were there, we were only just listening to stuff. The moment we go to the field in the districts, that's the first time we start seeing the reality. And Uttar Dinajpur is like one of the most rural district in Bengal. I myself am born and brought up in Delhi NCR region, which is a urban hub in the country right now. So that was a very good exposure for a person like me who has not seen rural areas from close corners. So I learned a lot over there. My Bengali improved step by step, which was a good thing, because I always imagined, if I'm in a state which is probably far away from my home state, I have to learn a new language, which is a good thing. Then sir, I was posted as BDO in Karandagi for 2.5 months, which was again a very good learning experience, because at that time Madhyamik exam, 10th exam were going on. That was the first time, previously I've given exams throughout my life. This was the first time I was conducting an exam. So these are those two different scenarios. We could understand what are the challenges, logistic wise and the motivation wise, the kind of people we get on the field and the staff. All this was the first hand experience I received during the training.
Yeah, where were you posted as SDO? Like your first actual independent posting, SDO?
Sir, I was posted as SDO Mathabanga, Kuch Bihar.
Kuch Bihar. That's again very interesting place. You have both places have international border also, interstate border also. So a lot of learning, in fact. What they say sometimes, what we learn in Mussoorie is more theoretical, and what we see in field, there is a lot of difference and dichotomy. Sometimes officers also, we jokingly say that what we are taught at Mussoorie and what we see in field, actually you have to restart again sometimes. Of course, the background and the grounding happens in Mussoorie, but the actual field learning, interaction with people's representatives, the actual people with whom we have to work, that happens in field only, isn't it? So your first interaction happens, as you said, perhaps in the first posting you saw as BDO, very close to people you work.
So Mathabanga, sir, was a very good experience for me. I still have very fond memories of that place. Kuch Bihar is a beautiful place. I have a hobby of photography, so whenever I used to get time, I used to explore the place. Natural beauty, as we say in cities, pollution and those things are coming up, but places like Kuch Bihar are still untouched. So close to nature, and people were so loving and they gave so much of warmth to us. I just had a wonderful experience over there.
Absolutely. In fact, you said it. So that's a beautiful place, and people are also very simple and straightforward. It's a great opportunity for you to work there. And also, I am happy to know about your hobby of photography. I hope you are continuing
Sure.
it now also. Do you get time?
Sir, uh, sir, not much, but yes, whenever I get the opportunity, I try to, but due to COVID, I'm not getting time to explore much because previously I used to visit places. So let's say probably if I'm talking about Calcutta, I'll go to a place which is in Howrah where I can do some street photography. But those things have been, restricted now because of COVID. So as things get normal, I'll start those excursions again.
Like we as officers, we always talk about field trips, like being in the field and closer to people. So how do you look at it? Like since we can always spend time in our offices, deal with only files, etc. But there is also an element where actually where we go to field and interact with people, be there for people. How do you look at it? How far, so far, what has been your experience?
During my both BDOship and SDOship, I used to divide my day like 50-50. So probably let's say in the first half, I'll do my office work and in the second half, I'll go on the field or vice versa. But whenever we are not going outside, we'll get different versions of the stories. But when we are there on the ground, we can understand ourselves what exactly could be the issues. So we can foresee situations also sometimes. But unless or until we are not going outside, we won't get the exact scenario what is happening on the ground. We'll only get versions from our junior officers, and those versions could be anything. It could be biased also, unbiased also. So I always preferred, where the more I spend time on the ground, let's say a project is going on, or so it's an MG Narega work is going on. Unless or until I'm not going there, my learning will be very limited because people who are working there, are they motivated or not? What are the challenges they are facing? There could be a possibility that our juniors are not telling us exactly the 100% version of the story. But when we talk to people, we get different sort of versions, which can be resolved from our end to larger extent. So those realities, sometimes if we stay in office, we miss those part. And the more we travel closer to them and interact with them, we get to know different side of the perspectives.
Exactly. I think otherwise you will be only getting information secondhand. So
Yes, sir.
sometimes that may be also that may not be correct version also. So that is also the more we spend time initial years. In fact, it's more important that to understand and to the dynamics, various programs being implemented, perhaps how they are working, what are all the difficulties. These are issues. So, and you are going to feel also motivates your team, perhaps, isn't it? So, your videos, isn't it? I think you must have felt it
Yes, sir.
also.
Yes, sir.
We also deal with people ask us quite a lot about how do you deal with public representatives. Of course, it comes with our job is like that. So, I think we maintain working relationship and we have to work as a team, isn't it? That has been the journey so far.
Yes, sir. Just like, we are assigned a sort of responsibility, they are also responsible for certain things. And it's always, wiser for us to have cordial relations with them. I had really good relations with the elected representatives at all the places so far. I was fortunate in that aspect. Whenever we were facing any issues, we used to talk to them. Could be a meeting or any issue on the ground on the spot where all of us are gathered and immediately the solutions come up. Such, I think, cordial relations only speed up the work. Unless or until if those relations are not good, that will only derail the work. So I always felt, being upfront on these aspects, and whenever we get the opportunity, whether be it in official meetings or when we are visiting a field trip, if elected representatives are also part of it, they will all know, we will understand their perspective and they will understand our perspective, and at the end of the day, work will happen.
I think very well said. Very important. We are in a team, in fact. So in a democratic setup, actually, that is the cornerstone. And officers also sometimes, I don't know, I can say that sometimes miss that. So we have to we have to understand that in a democratic setup, people representatives, public representatives, elected representatives definitely have the upper hand in this saying, isn't it? So
Yes.
Very well said. And just looking forward, so far, the journey has been good. And how do you, the service gives you satisfaction so far, and you look forward to years ahead? How you look at it?
Sir, I consider myself very fortunate.
You do a small balance sheet of your experience in corporate life and corporate job and public service so far.
Sir, first, both are totally different, but I will definitely say these services are, when it comes to learning and exposure, these services are far ahead. No platform provides such a, responsible work at such a, sooner time in the service. The moment you enter the service, you're supposed to lead, be the head of the subdivision, or probably as a additional district magistrate, or probably as a district magistrate later on. These, I feel, these opportunities are very responsible, and they push us to reach our potential, because there are many facets of my personality which probably I didn't know before. But as I interacted with people, as I went into the work, those sides of my personality came out, which was a good thing only. So that is something which was latent previously and which became explicit later on. So it's like you have to deal with people probably who are your father's age. You have to deal with people. Most of the people, when we are wherever we were posted, they were elder to me. How to deal with those people, how to make them motivated, how to understand because sir, at the end of the day, whatever you do, it is a supply demand game. So let's say if I'm posted somewhere, and after 1 year or 1.5 year I get transferred, but if I don't know the place well, I probably won't be able to deliver well. So if we interact with people to a larger extent, then we understand their issues. And probably in that span of time of 1.5 to 2 years, we'll be able to resolve their issues. Generally, what happens, by the time we understand the place, we get transferred. So in that way, I feel this, because a person coming from Gurgaon, I could have never imagined that, I will work in Cooch Behar later on in my life, which is so far away from my home, even in corporate sectors that I could have never imagined. So it is only because of service like these who provide this opportunity to be at far away places where actual India is. As I said, coming from Delhi NCR region, I've always seen the urban side of the country. I've never seen the rural side of the country. That is something I felt where the basic focus area should be on, and that is only possible because of the services, the opportunity these services provide.
Very right. Within public service, we say that it's an opportunity to serve. So once we get the opportunity, we should understand the value of it, isn't it? So it may not be that everybody is getting this opportunity. So it is said that we should value it. And also being humble. After all, what we know, what we learn, it's a learning every day, isn't it? So each day we learn new things. Our understanding also depends. So what we learn, we implement in every program. What we learn, so we take our knowledge further, so that our implementation of programs also get better, and also our inputs also for the better implementation are there. So do you agree with this view?
Yes, sir. Definitely. You're absolutely right, sir.
So being humble is so important. So sometimes we read stories about officers in public life, but I think we are on the same page when we say that, like, what the position what we enjoy is nothing but a responsibility, and responsibility to do and deliver good and for the public, isn't it? How do you look at it?
Sir, these aspects of the service were only attractive initially, getting a car with a beacon, or probably security, or the power associated with the service. But the moment I entered the service, all these things became secondary. Here, because the work is priority now. So probably people looking these services from outside, or aspirants also, they might be attracted towards these things. But these things are only attractable to only a certain point. Let's say probably, during the most of the probationers, when they enter the service, all these charm of these things, they go away immediately after the probation only. So then we know, because the kind of work we do, the challenges associated, we don't get time. Let's say people say you'll get a big bungalow when we are posted in the field, but I was SDM during the COVID time. I didn't get the opportunity to stay in my bungalow. So that's the way things are. So I always felt initially, yes, these things were attractive, but the sooner we become mature in the service, these become secondary, and the primary is work only.
Yeah, thank you, Jitin. So I think that is Jitin Yadav for us, the officer, the young officer, IAS officer, who has been doing excellent work, and we wish him all the best in his years ahead in public service. We'll come back in the next part, how he has handled the civil services exam. Thank you, Jitin. We'll come back.
Sir, thank you, sir.